So now we have our next speaker, Romee Giri. She is a sport activist, first female Olympic speaker of Nepal. She is also the former UN Young Leader. Over to you, Romee, for the wonderful speech.
Thank you. Thank you for the floor. First of all, good morning to all the courageous ladies and gentlemen assembled here, and special regards to the organizers and the management team of Serial. This is Romee Giri from Nepal, a sports person, sports activist, recognized as a first female Olympic speaker, and former United Nations young leader. And I used to work with the UN advocating the social issues under those 17 goals since 2014 to 2016. And I'm here today to speak about women for change. And in this beautiful day of March 8th, International Women's Day, I would like to wish you all at first a happy Women's Day, respected and dearest all. Let me start this speech by thanking you all for honoring me with this valuable opportunities in this beautiful day. Uh, Somebody has correctly said that women is like a tea bag, you know. You can tell how strong, you cannot tell how strong she is until you put her in a hot water. And I believe we should include ourselves in every opportunity so that we can give our best for the community, society, and country. If we look at the history, women's will notice that women's have a set beautiful examples in different fields. But if we observe at present conditions, we will discover that women have several limitations. Women empowerment is a process of retrieving their true rights and give them the proper place to enhance the positive changes, such as recognition in society, country, organizations, and other workplace wherever they stand. And change is important with important to initiate from ourselves, and the more society is letting us seeing as a weak factors of the society, it is not true. We are not weak and we are not half of the society. We have a power of generating the society, actually. That's what I believe. And this is unfortunate that women get little and no appreciations despite being talented in male dominated societies. Women are treated like many of the places are many of the time non-existent. In many countries at rural areas, they are still not allowed to pursue a higher education and professional life. Women can't contribute to decision making, even in their family. So, as human beings, we also hold, as a woman, a similar weight as a man. So, it is a wake up call for us to empower women and empower ourselves for the positive changes, changing on ourselves, our attitude, and our being self. No one should not be maltreated anymore. Especially women have to speak for it, for ourselves and for herself. Women empowerment is like a ray of hope for women to bring them to the place to which they are entitled, and it will strengthen willpower definitely. In our country, especially Nepal, women empowerment is an issue for conversations only, limited to conversations. That's it. In other countries, women and girls are self dependent and they can make their own decisions and also take their responsibility proudly. And this is a region, I believe, those countries to fall into the bucket of developed countries for sure. Women can contribute this country as they are the ones who understand the meaning of responsibility from household to organizations to handling the nations. As a woman, we can perform well in almost every aspects of life, and that should be our confidence. Our country is amongst those which are less secure for female, and there is, I believe, a need for a women's empowerment so that all the women can take a stance for their rights, for betterments, for social positive changes, psychological, environmental, and positive changes that as a women we can bring when we are empowered by ourselves. And If we don't take care of ourselves, I believe no one will take care. So I think they're ladies, beautiful ladies. It is really important to take care of ourselves and be. There are a lot of methods to empower for changes as a women. We should take a part in encouraging women's and girls in our society. At first, we can allow them for almost every field that we are prevented, as she is prevented from. Women education should be the method or that made a necessary changes, positive changes, and women can become literate enough to live a life at fullest at the beginning. And most importantly, everyone can be literate, but being educated women in practice is, I think, we really, really need to be educated, which is above literacy. And for like developing countries, child marriage is must be prevented, and a huge punishment should be inflicted if someone is found involved in it. Like there is a dowry system in my country, rural areas, and I'm still working for it. So I believe women's in chains is only possible changing in ourselves so that all we can empower the government and decision making bodies uh, to spread the awareness about this among the people and encourage them to behave well with their like as a male to the women child, daughters. Girls and women must get provided with a free training on how to defend themselves and face problems boldly. And in this case, I am myself involved as a like activist. They call me activist with these things, and I'm like through the sports, using sports as a tool. Being a sports person, I'm empowering women with the various sorts of educations in the society at the grassroots level. And I think we really have to wake up now by ourselves, most importantly, and we should make a space by ourselves. For instance, as these days, currently, UN Secretary General has singled out the women's leadership for their unique abilities as the drivers of solutions when they are empowered. Yeah, it is in the practice of international arena as well to advocate and the importance of women in our leadership and decision making participation. So UN is one of the organization who is playing active role for the overall growth of the women. UN has analyzes UN analysis has shown the men and women have a different coping mechanism and vulnerabilities in the face of change. And I believe this is a beautiful example to for all of us that we definitely have to be proud for equality, and we are different, not as a supporter, as a together in between men and women. There should be, I believe, there should no competition. Just there should be respect, and women's many of the time feel maltreated and discouraged in decision making positions. So that should not be. And UN focuses on women around the world as agents of the change, teaching them how to integrate smart solutions in the work they do. And this community-driven approaches not only benefits the environment but also empower the women to help improve the quality of life for their families, communities, workplace while advancing the sustainable development. So I'm almost, yeah. In the final words, I want to say that women's empowerment is a way for the women to change from the grassroots level to decision making level. So it is really importantly required demand for a better futures of the country and portray the best pictures of themselves and the place they belongs to. We don't have to do much, but bringing back their proper places is important. Having a lot of initiations and initiatives throughout the globe, or also in our country where we belong, is still lacking behind in women empowerment. Means ourselves is lacked. We ourselves are lacking many of the times, and that we should not continue. We all can make it possible by taking a part in encouraging and supporting our girls and women wherever we are. Definitely, there is a lot to say, but time is limited resources, definitely, and with the we should respect it At last, I want to thank you all for listening and for having me this valuable opportunities. And thank you so much again. And cheers to the womanhood. And let's share the sisterhood together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Romy, for sharing this.